Good evening, boys and ghouls, lords and ladies. DJ Craigie here with the Progeny Behind the Fang podcast, and joining me as always, my amazing co-host and wife, Ming Chow, Neapolitan Wu. Welcome.
Hi there, howdy, happy fall, y'all. They pay me to say that.
And it's fall indeed, and we have a very special episode for y'all today. We got a lot of positive feedback on our last podcast, Top 10, so we're going to do another one just in time for Halloween on the very best vampire couples in both fiction and lore. It's going to be great.
Vampire Couples 101. Get ready.
Alrighty, so let's jump right into it.
Alright, so number 10. Barnabas Collins and Victoria Winters. They share a very complex and intriguing romantic connection in the Dark Shadows series. Victoria is the governess at Collinwood Manor and finds herself drawn to Barnabas despite his dark secrets. Makes him a lot more mysterious and attractive. Or is it that very, very sickening pale skin he got? I don't know. But anyway, she falls in love with him, and their relationship is marked by mystery, tragedy, and a timeless bond that transcends centuries. Whether it's the 1795 timeline or the present day, their romance weaves through time like an eternal thread. How romantic. Well, how are you going to top that?
Wow, well that's quite the couple. However,
isn't it?
I'm going to top it with a 90s classic couple. We're going to go with Buffy Summers and Angel. In the 90s show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, these two fall in love with each other, and it's a very dynamic story, and which is also, it's the Slayer falling in love with the vampire. It's quite the relationship, and a vampire with a soul and a conscience, I might add. Their chemistry is just immediate, leading to a passionate love story that even crossed over to another TV show which dove right into Angel's mind and his struggle for redemption. It is an amazing tale and something any vampire lover should check out.
Sounds very intriguing. So I guess I gotta top that now. So
let's hear
number
it.
8. Coming in at number 8, everyone's favorite author, Anne Rice, in her novel Interview with the Vampire, Lestat and Louis. They share a very complex and passionate relationship. So Lestat turns Louis into a vampire way back when, and they become parents to a young vampire prodigy named Claudia. So there's a lot of different versions of these two and the type of romance they had. While the novel doesn't explicitly explore the romance, it hints at their deep connection. And of course, he picked him to turn and everything, so he'd been watching him for quite some time. So we know that from the novel. There's a new AMC television series and an adaptation of the novel, and their relationship there is more overtly romantic and sexually charged. Are we allowed to say that? Yes, I said sexually charged. This is an adult show, so yeah. So the TV series features Sam Reed as Lestat and Jacob Anderson as Louis. We never got to see the television series, Craig, so I can't really make comment on that. But a lot of people like it. It's a huge hit. In essence, their love is both tragic and eternal, a dance between darkness and desire, whether it's the novel or the television series. Now, how are you going to top that?
Well,
oh, he fell asleep.
I'm going to have to head in with Celine and Michael Corvin from the Underworld film series.
Oh, yes, always the werewolves.
Nothing but love. And their chemistry is it's just right there from the very beginning. Celine, a vampire death dealer, hunts lichens, and Michael, being a medical student, gets entangled in the supernatural world when lichens target him for death. And their paths collide, and it's basically downhill from there. Revealing a startling truth, Michael is a descendant from the Corvinus bloodline that connects vampires and lichens.
How convenient.
And with their intense chemistry, Celine and Michael's love fuels the entire Underworld franchise. And with the absence of Michael in the later films, it just kind of feels empty. it's pretty crazy because in a genre that's mostly bloodshed and war, their romance is kind of like a nice standout feature. So
He was actually a hybrid too.
For sure.
You gotta hand it to them. And they had a child, which really ramped up those movies. So it's a good story. It's a good romance. So going back to Interview with the Vampire, I just had to say, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. I mean, I don't know if anyone can top those two and the job that they did, but hey, I'm just throwing that out there.
And it's so amazing. I will comment on that. The funny thing is, in reality, those two had great chemistry on screen, but did not like each other one bit. A little food for thought.
Oh, really?
Most definitely.
Is that true?
It is.
Did you read that in the Inquirer or where?
Oh, it's true.
Well, that's very interesting because, yeah, they had great on-screen chemistry. Remarkable. Well, let's see. So I guess I'm going to top this, I guess. And actually, this couple just might. Coming in at number 6, we are entering the delightful world of the Munsters. Lily Munster, Harmon Munster. They share a unique and heartwarming romance. Let's unravel their story, so to speak. So Herman Munster was the iconic green giant created by Dr. Victor Frankenstein at the University of Heidelberg in 1815. However, he wasn't fully completed until 1850, along with his twin brother, which I never knew he had a twin, Charlie. So despite his monstrous appearance, Herman forced a loving family with Lily. Oh, did I say forced? I'm so sorry. It was formed. Okay, so the Munsters are a quirky and endearing bunch indeed. Herman is the Frankenstein monster with the heart of gold. Lily is his vampire wife. Grandpa, who's a huge favorite on the show, is Lily's vampire dad, rumored to be Dracula. Eddie, Wolfgang, quote-unquote, Munster, is a werewolf's son. Go figure that family tree. I have no idea how that works. And Marilyn, the beautiful, normal-looking niece, she stands out in this delightfully odd family in those photos, and she wears pink. Go figure. So this is the strangest love story ever told, so they say. In 2022, which I didn't know, they had a reboot of the Munsters. Lily, a 150-year-old love-lorn vampire, falls head over heels for Herman. Their love blossoms in a crazy Transylvanian romance, despite obstacles like Lily's father, the Count, having different plans for her future. So, there it is, y'all. It's a tale of love, laughter, and spooky charm. They are just so cute and quaint.
Most definitely, and you can't forget Rob Zombie also did his adaptation of the Munsters, which is also great.
So I had no idea about that either. Look at all this stuff that we are all learning, folks.
So, we're moving on to our top 5, folks, and I guess I gotta do it. And yes, coming in at
get out your glitter.
Coming in at number 5, we have Edward Cullen and Bella Swan in the Twilight Saga. And now these two probably one of the most iconic couples due to a lot of the fiction. Let's explore. So they're constantly worried about each other's safety, which shows a really deep bond between the two. And it's quite eerie how Bella fits right in with Edward's vampire family. So that acceptance really helped them out a lot. And their strong physical attraction, well, come on. They were overly codependent, especially Bella. Bella was willing to give up anything for Edward, which is kind of dangerous. Their relationship was often based on fear, control, and with Edward, quote unquote, protecting Bella, aka stalking her. And so,
Stockholm syndrome. Okay.
in the end, their love remains iconic, but it's also essential to recognize it has a lot of different angles, complexities, and more. So make sure you check out the Twilight series. But remember, not everything that glitters is gold.
They also had a baby together too, and she was also on the edge deciding, do I want this hunky werewolf guy or do I want this very pale vampire guy, like a vampire James Dean or, you know, Jacob. So I'm sure that was very difficult for her to decide. Poor girl. All right, so we got number 4 now, The Vampire Diaries, Damon and Elena. Their relationship was the biggest storyline on the show, and it was their will they or won't they story that drove the plot. It was like, her sitting out with the flower. Does he love me? Does he not? Does he love me? So even when one of them appeared dead and off the show, while The Vampire Diaries started out with a love story between a human girl, Elena, and a vampire, Stefan, which is actually his brother, it wasn't until Elena and Damon, Stefan's brother, fell in love that things really took off and became one of television's best and most beloved supernatural shows. Despite their romance, Damon and Elena often struggled to get on the same page. Damon was a vampire who had lived for over a century, while Elena was a teenage girl who looked like his former lover, Catherine. Bad news. Run away from him. Elena wanted to find love with Damon, and she needed him to give up his murderous and vengeful past. That was their plight throughout the series. Again, run away, girlfriend. Get out of there. Werewolves, curses, and even traveling witches got in the way at times of their tragic love story. Elena even died, and it seemed they would never have a happily ever after. However, she returned in the end, and Damon and Elena's love story had a happy ending, although its story still included plenty of twists and turns. So y'all gotta check that out. I feel like we're in a rap battle or something. Talk that.
Alrighty. So jumping in at number 3, folks.
3. Stop taking my part. That's my line.
So jumping in at number 3, we have one of my absolute favorite vampire couples of all time, and it's most recent as well. We're talking about the one, the only Nadja and Laszlo Cravensworth from What We Do in the Shadows, the television show. And these two, they're both hilarious and they're just so heartwarming to watch. As it starts, Nadja, centuries ago, went to the town of Laszlo, who he was the most handsome man in his village. So one night, Nadja visits Laszlo and seduces him, transforms herself into a hideous bat creature and bites him, and making him the vampire he is today. His words. So, from that moment forward, they took on the world, and they were great at it. They lived for about 200 years, and they were run out of Europe for being vampires, in which they took on the boat and headed to Staten Island. And their magnetic love for each other led to many different friendships, And the love these two have for each other is just undeniable. And their quirky romance. Oh, and what I really love the most is when they collaborate on music together. It's just amazing because they almost fight as much as the wife and I.
Huh?
No,
And they have this amazing career. Like you can hire them for your wedding to sing. Hit it, Craig.
well, they have some great songs, such as "The Girl with the Real Small Foot" and "Who'll Come First on the Wedding Night."
I
So,
know, right? This is why Craig and I never got married. Yeah. Well, they are my favorite too, as well. So I gotta say, I really do enjoy that show. What are they on season 5 now?
well, soon to
Is
be
it?
season 6, and it's undeniable. Laszlo being the European and Naja being the
Oh,
Greek vampire, they just go together so well. It's
they just click. It's entertaining. Yeah, they're just sticky. Yeah, they're great. And there is also the Shadows movie that came before the series, but sadly they're not in it. But that's a great movie as well. Yeah, no couples in that. Sorry. All
okay. So
right,
now you're
so
really going to have to top this with our number one pick, my wife, and what's it going to be?
number two. I'm number two. We're not there yet, Craig. The thing of it is I don't know if this is going to top those two. I'm not too sure about this, but we are we're going into the world of True Blood, folks. So Sookie Stackhouse and Bill Compton, who share a tumultuous and passionate romance. Um, Basically, to take a glimpse into their love life here. So Sookie is a half fairy waitress working a 9 to 5, and she finds Bill in the parking lot after she gets off work, and she saves him from attackers who seek to drain him. I mean, really? Go figure. A fairy's going to save a vampire? I don't like that. Anyway, in gratitude, Bill gives her his vampire blood, and it sparks their connection, their bond. So they embark on Sookie's first series romantic relationship, and I think it's her first relationship with a vampire, I believe. So it's a complicated journey, so they say. Their love faces numerous challenges, including Bill's past deceptions and secrets. And he initially pretended to love Sookie to spy on her for the Queen of Mississippi. I love that red haired queen, but sadly she got killed rather quickly. Their relationship is both passionate and fraught with tension. The ultimate sacrifice is in the season finale when Bill makes a heartbreaking decision. Believing that Sookie deserves a normal life, he asks her to use her fairy light to end his life before hepatitis V kills him. This act would also make her completely human. So, their love story is a blend of desire, betrayal, and sacrifice, a testament to the complexities of supernatural romance. I always loved Bill. He was my favorite character until, and I don't even like Sookie that much. Let me tell you guys. But until he cheated on her, I was like, nah, nah, nah. Pulling the plug on you, buddy. So, Craig, someone asked us to do this, and we are obligated. Craig does an amazing interpretation of Bill in a graveyard scene. Yeah,
Oh, jeez. Well, I'm put
yeah,
on the
sorry.
spot. it's
Sorry
it's
about
funny.
that.
Bill and Sookie, I do want to say before, it's really cool when they first met how when Bill went outside to get a drink, or Bill went outside after having a drink and was almost killed by drainers. Sookie saves him, then Sookie gets attacked, and Bill saves her. So it's quite the give and take relationship. It's just something very special.
Was he faking it though, since the Red Queen sent him to go and spy on her? Was that a fake scene then?
I think
Did they
that's
set that up?
left to interpretation. However, I believe at first that was the mission. However, he did fall in love with her. So, all right. Now, True Blood has
The
to be.
graveyard scene. The graveyard scene. The graveyard scene.
Yes.
Craig?
True Blood
Yes,
has
Jared, do it.
True Blood has to be my favorite series of the entire vampire genre, I gotta say. I have watched it multiple times, and True Blood is on my number one. And my favorite Bill moment is Sookie's being attacked by werewolves, and he comes out of the ground during the daylight, catches on fire, and Sookie! It's just. And there you
Do
go,
that
folks.
again.
So we're going to
One
move
more
on
time.
now to number one. We have, and I call it number one, Dracula and Mina. One of the most iconic couples, especially from Bram Stoker's Dracula, portrayed so well. Dracula actually preys on Mina, creating a blood bond between the two. And it's so powerful, even when hypnotized by Van Helsing, Mina can channel his thoughts. It's just
Eerie.
such a eerie connection they have, and they survive so many different challenges in their romance, defying everything in the Victorian norms. And in summary, Dracula and Mina's romance transcends time, genre, blending desire, danger, and an unexpected connections. It's just almost perfect. He crossed many oceans to find her.
See, that's the other thing. That the reason I don't really care for them is because so he crossed all these oceans and time and blah blah blah, and he's so excited to find her, and then he doesn't want to turn her into a vampire. I mean, what? And then, I mean, they could have lived forever, been immortal, walked the night. It could have been like amazing. So then he wants her to kill him. I mean, it's like, I just nah, I can't get into that. Sorry.
Well, regardless, I still wear my cape. And Dracula and Mina coming in at number one. So we have.
Oh yeah, wait. You got to tell him about that story where you were Dracula for what, 12, 13 years in a row.
I sure was, folks. Every year for Halloween, I don my bow tie, my long cape, and my white dress shirt, and went as Dracula every single year. I should
Ah,
have just worn it.
I know.
Alrighty, so we have a list of honorable mentions that were not mentioned on our top 10 list. And I'm going to start it off with Sookie Stackhouse. Now, Sookie Stackhouse in the True Blood series and in the Sookie Stackhouse Chronicle books was in multiple different relationships, and the most notable were her and Eric Northman. I actually like Eric Northman more than Bill Compton, in my opinion. I thought he was a great vampire character, and they could have done so much. And their relationship was a little... I mean...
Rocky.
Yeah, a little rocky, especially when Eric lost his memory, but it got to show Sookie who he really was. So... And then we have Sookie and the werewolf Alcide. Another great character, another awesome relationship that sadly did not turn out very well for Alcide, but... And then we have Sookie and Sam. I mean, and those two technically were not in a relationship. However, the love Sam had for Sookie was very apparent, very real, and I'm pretty sure Sookie felt some love for Sam, but she just loved those vampires. Poor guy.
Mm-hmm. He's a shapeshifter, right? I think.
Right? And then
And the owner, our boss.
And speaking of True Blood, like, just the relationships throughout the entire television show are amazing, and it's really cool to see all those supernatural love scenes, we'll just say.
Connections. Oh yeah. Are you talking about? So you want to also mention Lafayette Reynolds and Jesus, who had that was an amazing love affair right there. And some of the scenes, like they got into some crazy stuff for real. So that was a very entertaining.
Well, a
Um,
witch and a medium that just
yeah,
couldn't be more interesting.
yeah, and they do some crazy stuff too, like hook up with a bunch of witches, and oh my gosh, they do a whole bunch of stuff. So that's very entertaining. And then we got Pam and Eric, which is a great story, and Tara and Pam, and Eric and Nora, who I think was his sister.
His vampire sister. But yes, it actually was. It kind of blew my mind at that point.
Yeah. So there was some great. Do you want to talk about Pam and Eric? You know that story best.
Well, Pam and Eric were, I thought, were a great couple. A very well put together power couple, that's for sure. That went back way when Pam was running her own brothel and vampires would kill her clients. Eric met her, adored her, and took care of her vampire problem, which coincidentally was Bill and Lorena. Pam fell in love with
Didn't it?
Eric and wanted to become a vampire and gave him no choice. And so Eric could either watch her die or let her walk the world with him. It was a very tragic love that they had for one another. It just, I wish they would have elaborated a lot more on that.
I do too. It kind of fizzled out. But I think didn't he buy her a new dress too when someone ruined her dress? He was so chivalrous, that guy. So so then Tara and Pam, of course we mentioned them and Buffy and Spike, you know. I don't know, I never was really a fan of that show, but Lilith and Inarius from Diablo 4, that's an amazing love story as well. Gomez and Morticia Adams. We give them a mention because we wish they was a vampire couple. Right, Craig?
Most definitely.
She looks like a vampire. Actually, what? Heck, they both do.
Well, the Addams family, we all wish they were vampires.
Yeah.
If there was any more of a couple that was more like us, I'm pretty sure it would be Gormez and Morticia. So,
Mhm. Yeah, they're pretty cute. So,
alrighty.
yeah, Craig. Well, Craig, does that mean that we're on this list too? The couple everyone loves to hate. Yeah, so um yeah, so send your hate mail to Craig. I'll give you the address and you can egg his house and put rotten tomatoes and yeah.
Alrighty. Well, make sure you slap that like and subscribe, and you remember, when we get in the media, we'll top this list.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And before we go, let's talk about a few events. So the 27th, we have the Familiar event from 4 to 8 p.m. Second Life time. You can get on down to Terrortown and enjoy some Halloween fun, listen to some good music, and come in your costume. They also have a photo contest going on, so hit that Progeny Castle and get the rules, and they got a Dropbox there. Submit your full perm textures or add it to the Flickr group. They got the new War Sam. You definitely want to check out, watch for notices, what's coming up on that. And the 29th is the Progeny Ball. I believe their hours are usually, operating hours, usually 10 a.m. Second Life time until 6 p.m. Second Life time. So you got a lot of fun stuff to do. So get out there and enjoy the last days of fall.
You heard it, folks. Get on those costumes and have a blast. Go on down to Terror Town and get terrorized.
Yeah. If listening to this podcast didn't already do it for you. All right, everyone. We got some new podcasts coming up pretty quick, so wait for it.
And this is DJ Craigie, and it has been a pleasure, and happy Halloween to all y'all.
Good night.